Great. And I think, Aaron, you touched on something really interesting through that CFO case study. I was going to actually ask an example, and you actually just gave that right away, which is fantastic. So we're seeing that, we're hearing also from a lot of leaders that the investment into sort of upskilling doesn't always translate to business outcome, right? And I think that sort of CFO example is a great example of how that's actually being brought to life across different functions. So what would be your advice or sort of tips to business leaders to ensure that investment into upskilling directly translate to business results or outcome?
I love this question. Opher, do you mind if I go first here? This one, so there is an issue in the learning, training, skill development industry. In that most learning companies don't provide a good way for their customers to measure the business outcome of those investments. Like, I mean, I'm sure most people listening will relate to this, because the way typical organizations measure the outcome of any training investment today is through engagement. Like, if it's a classroom event, did they show up? You know, were they actually sitting in the seat for the 8 hours a day? When at the beginning of my career, when I was teaching classes all over the world, you know, not one customer ever assessed the students on did they actually learn something during the week. But they always assessed the instructor, like, did the instructor do a good job? and that was sort of a proxy for determining, did the students like it, and, you know, did it actually produce something? But they like, even in the classroom training world, no one ever assessed the right things. Like, are we actually assessing the things that would tell us if we're producing business outcome and the ROI that we really care about? And so now, as we move forward into the online learning space, companies are kind of doing the same. Most companies are kind of doing the similar thing, where they measure, are people actually watching videos? Are they engaging in the learning? So it's more about usage, about, like, did they show up, similar to the classroom? But we're still not going all the way to the end of, like, did it actually produce what we care about? Has their proficiency with that skill grown in some demonstrable way? And so at Pluralsight, that's one of the things we've been really obsessed over, and our solution isn't perfect yet, but, like, this is the mission we're on. This is the problem we want to solve, because we believe that to measure the outcome of those investments, you should be able to show a growth in skill. Like, you should be able to demonstrate that your skills are progressing and growing over time. And we do that through our skill analytics, our skill intelligence capabilities. We provide this thing called Skill IQ that allows an individual to assess their skill at a starting point. They can reassess that skill as they continue to learn and grow and practice those skills. And we can show the progression of those skills over time, sort of like an SAT score for the skill. Here in the US, that's the standard entrance exam for the university. So you get a score, you kind of know, like, where I'm at relative to the rest of the population, and you can sort of benchmark yourself. So you have a feedback loop to calibrate against. And then we're going one step further, and I'll be done here in a second. We don't even think that's the final answer. That's better than usage, because you're actually seeing growth in a capability. But what we really want to be able to demonstrate is that the engineers are getting better in the code they're writing. Like, the applications are being done more innovatively, you know, more quickly, more efficiently, and the quality is improving. And so our Flow product, that second product that Celeste mentioned in the beginning, that is our product for measuring that. Like, we brought a whole new product online as part of Pluralsight's catalog for this purpose, so that engineering leaders can plug it into their code repositories. You just plug us into any Git-based repository, and then we start monitoring how your teams are working and what their flow efficiency looks like. That's what we're measuring, is flow efficiency. And then we can connect that back to the skill investment. So we can show that if you made these investments in your skills, your teams are actually getting better or not. And then we can use that output data, the outcome data, to then better inform the skilling strategies and create this virtuous ecosystem that's really powerful for the customer. That's probably more than you bargained for, but I'll stop there and let Opher